Morning, everyone. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Tuesday so far. Hope it's not too terribly rainy where you are because it is literally pouring outside to the point where I feel like I need to make an arc. So I hope y'all are doing well. I wanted to come to you really quickly and just give you a few reminders and things to keep in mind as you're heading throughout the rest of this week and as you're thinking ahead to the week ahead. So the first thing that I want to remind you of is, and most of you are aware, I'm sure, we are currently in our proctored midterm exam period. That period ends this Thursday. So if you have already scheduled your exam, you're good to go. Just make sure to take it accordingly, whether you're going to a testing center or whether you're doing it virtually. If you have not signed up for the proctored midterm, you absolutely need to do so ASAP. Otherwise, you will have to do a late extension. You'll have to request that through me. There will be point deductions for it, things like that. So please make sure that you complete the proctored midterm and get signed up if you haven't gotten signed up already. Okay, so the next thing I want to mention is the Unit 2 essay that is due this Friday. So let me go into our course. Okay, so our Unit 2 assignment, if you go underneath the Content tab, I'm going to kind of discuss this assignment and what you're going to really want to focus on with this assignment. Okay. So the Unit 2 essay is going to be really doing a close analysis of the poem. So anytime you get an essay assignment like this, and you'll have several formal writing assignments for this class, you've probably looked ahead and you've noticed those. Every one of these is going to give you clearly outlined instructions, giving you kind of the purpose for the assignment, your overall task, what I'm going to be asking you to do, and the way that you'll be graded. Now, what you're going to want to really keep in mind is this task part. This is going to be the big area where you're going to want to make sure to follow your instructions carefully. So you'll choose one of the poetry selections in the unit. You can choose the same one you did in your discussion board, but you don't have to. And let's see what else. So you'll closely read the poem, considering structural elements, patterns, figurative language, things like that. And you'll reread it, pay attention to the varied features of the poem, and so on and so forth. Again, follow all of these instructions. Essentially what I'm looking for you to do is to actively engage and provide some pretty detailed analysis about the poem that you've chosen. And again, if you want to choose the one that you started working on the discussion board, you can. In fact, I would actually encourage that because if you did some really solid work in the discussion board initially, and I gave you some feedback and gave you some thoughts to keep in mind, that could be a really good, useful breeding ground and a good place to begin some brainstorming as you look ahead to this larger assignment. Some things to also keep in mind, the criteria that you'll be graded on. Again, I'm looking for specificity and development of your thesis, so you need to have some kind of argument within your paper. Again, I know that coming up with a thesis statement can be challenging, so if you have a hard time with it, do reach out to me. And also know that because this is an early assignment, I'll be giving you a lot of feedback on this first one, probably more feedback than I'll give you on any other assignment in the class to really help you as you move forward. So I'll be looking for a thesis statement, good supporting claims, logic organization, good quality writing, engagement with the text. It does need to be formatted in MLA, so make sure to follow the guidelines through Al Purdue. Again, there's a link right here. I am looking for you to cite all your sources. Nothing can be plagiarized. If it is plagiarized, of course, refer back to the syllabus. Though there are guidelines there and kind of let you know what the policy is going to be. And then the length requirement. It is 750 to 1,000 words. I really want to hone in on the length requirement for a moment. A lot of people struggle with this. In fact, I count off a good number of points every time I teach this class for this first assignment because people don't meet the length requirement. So make sure to hit at least 750 and make sure to, or at the very least, stay within the range that's listed here. Again, review all of these instructions. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Now, one of the things I do want to draw your attention to, this assignment is due on Friday, but it was originally due at 5 o'clock. It is due now at 11:59. I wanted to give you a little more time, mostly because this week has been completely insane, as you all know. So I wanted to give you a little bit of extra time. So it is due this Friday by 11:59. You'll just upload it to the Dropbox as you would normally. And again, if you have any questions about the assignment, please let me know. Now, the next thing I want to remind you of, let's go to the calendar, is this right here. So the 9th, March 9th, is going to be the last day to withdraw from the class to receive a W. For many of you, you are doing very well in the class. And what I always suggest to students is if you're concerned about whether you should stay in the class or withdraw, I would encourage you to do two things. One, look at your grade in the class currently. Look and see how you're doing. Look and see what kind of feedback I'm giving to you. And then if you're really concerned about whether you should withdraw or not, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk with you and give you, give you some direction, give you some advice, things like that. Again, I genuinely do want all of you to stay in this class. I want you all to stay actively engaged, but I also recognize that sometimes you may need to, withdraw from a class and take it at a later time because of things that might be going on in your life personally, or maybe you have too much on your plate academically. Again, I'm willing to work with all of you. You all know this. I've been saying this since the very beginning, but if this is something that you feel like you need to take advantage of, do take note that March 9th will be the last day with which to do so. And then the very last thing I want to remind you of, switch it back to me. Okay, so the very last thing I want to remind you of, and it kind of goes in line with the W date. By Friday, this coming Friday the 6th, I will be giving you all a midterm letter grade. So when you go into your grade book, by Friday there will be a letter grade letting you know how you're doing currently at the midpoint in the class. And that will include everything that you have, that will include every grade that I have, every assignment that I've received from you so far, and everything that I've received that I've graded. Everything will be caught up by Friday. And that will include the proctored midterms. I've actually graded the ones that have come in thus far, graded those last night, and I will have the annotated bibliography assignment that you all just submitted graded by Friday as well. So your midterm letter grade on Friday will be the most updated grade I have for you. Now, keep in mind, if I don't have an assignment from you and it is a 0, it will remain a 0. You can still make it up, but I will include that when I calculate your midterm grade. So if you are missing anything, I've been reaching out to quite a few of you over the last couple of weeks. Please get in touch with me. I'm more than willing to work with you to make up assignments, but do keep in mind, if you want to know how you're doing in the class, particularly if you're thinking toward the W date, this Friday you will have a midterm letter grade. That will give you a really clear indication of how you're doing. That's all I have for you now. Again, if you have any questions as you're moving throughout the rest of this week, specifically as you're leading toward the Unit 2 paper that's due Friday at 11:59, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing and grading more of your awesome work in the days to come. Have a great one.